So if you do really start feeling better and you let go of certain things in your life, money energy opens up. If you learn how to connect with your subconscious mind in a certain way, then nothing is impossible.
How our beliefs really shape our reality on a neurological level.
This is the first thing I tell them, that you have a conscious mind, but you have a subconscious mind. And everything that you're saying is getting downloaded
in your subconscious.
And it's going to come back. You need to understand that the subconscious mind was programmed through repetition. People already have a deep need for love. And love makes them feel good. As an emotion, they connect with it. Desire itself is actually a manifestation of the power that you possess. Once you identify what you want, giving up is never an option.
It's almost like our listeners manifested this episode. Hi, my name is Karishma Mehta and I welcome you to Realign the podcast. Together, we'll explore the fascinating intersection of science, spirituality, and wellness. Dr. Karishma Ahuja is a metaphysical counselor who's helped thousands of clients on their manifestation journey. In this episode, she shares insights into elevating clients' health, finances, and even tackling infertility with the help of metaphysical techniques. Together, we explore the connection between thoughts and things, understand how anger can affect your liver, and how forgiveness can lead to financial gains. It's time to realign mind, body, and soul. I can finally say this, backed by popular demand, Dr. Karishma, because when we did the first episode, it kind of spiraled into so many different people engaging with the concept, understanding the concept for the first time, and saying, let's do a part 2. So it's the first time on the show that I'm saying welcome back.
Thank you so much. It feels so good to be back. Thank you for having me for the second time.
No, 100%. And I couldn't think of a better way to realign in 2024 than with you. And so many different layers of questions that we even got in the comment section when we did the first one. And I think you truly managed to touch the lives of a lot of people, because so often we get messages saying, I watched this episode and I'm kind of using the principles of manifestation in my life. So thank you for doing that episode and thank you for doing this today.
Thank you for giving us all an opportunity to be a part of something that can be so impactful for people. And it's amazing to be back here. Also, another opportunity to touch more lives.
Yeah.
And to bring about some more transformation within ourselves and, of course, among others.
Yeah, 100%. So I'm going to go a little bit more complex than the last time, because I think we simplified the concepts easily enough. But now to kind of elevate the subject so that people understand it more deeply, I have this one question, which is actually one of the most frequently asked questions about manifestation. There is this dichotomy between what is realistic and what is a far-fetched goal, right? So, for example, sometimes when you're writing things that your subconscious is telling you it's not possible, but actually it could be possible, is a complex situation for certain people to be in, because they don't know which way to go. So how do you kind of organize that dichotomy when it comes to manifestation and far-reaching goals that one may have not achieved in their life?
I think the first thing is that you need to understand goals have to come from within. So most of the times people fail when it comes to achieving their goals is because they haven't thought of their goals and it's not coming from their heart. So I would always suggest that, look at the why behind the goal. Why do you want to achieve something? If that why is sorted, then no goal is going to be far-fetched, because ultimately if you look at manifestation, desire itself is actually a manifestation of the power that you possess.
Right.
As much as we understand spirituality, it's all about understanding that there is something within you that has no limitation. So it's never too late or too early for anything to manifest in your life if you are ready to receive it.
Correct.
So ready to receive means that there is something within you that is making you go after something. It's that inherent desire and that passion for something. So if you manage to sit in silence with yourself on a daily basis, and if you try to identify why you want to go after something, what is the reason behind it, and once that reason is clear and you know this is something you want to go after, then you should not be thinking about whether this is going to be possible or not. Then you have to learn how to train your mind to go after it. That is to engage your subconscious mind in cooperating with you in achieving that goal.
Right. So a lot of what you're speaking about comes from mindset.
Yeah.
Which is either you're in a receiving mindset or your mindset is of acceptance that you don't have limits.
Yes.
So how does one arrive at changing this mindset? For example, if somebody thinks that just for argument's sake, 100 rupees for me is out of bounds.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen it before.
Yes.
How does one change that mindset and apply it in their own lives to be in the receiving mode, which is what you spoke about earlier?
Every day is going to be important in training your mind. The time that you wake up in the morning till the time that you go to bed at night, it's all a process. And everything that you're doing, you have to understand, you are showing something to your subconscious mind. And most of the times it is about what the subconscious mind is going to imitate.
Right.
So let's say that I use some words in the morning. Now the subconscious mind is obligated to follow that and to give me something which is similar to what I have spoken of. So in the morning itself, if I can wake up, and try to program my subconscious mind by giving it some positive words, and then all throughout the day becoming conscious. What am I thinking? Is this a thought that is going to help me feel better and manifest what I want? Or is it going to take me away from what I want? So from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed, you have to engage in some personal sadhana, as we call it. Some inner work has to be done.
Yeah.
And that can start with even 10 to 15 minutes of silent sitting. Because when you're sitting in silence and you're all by yourself, you're able to understand what your deeper needs are. You're also able to get the counter thoughts that are going on in the mind.
Correct.
There could be a counter thought that 100 is too difficult for me.
Which is what most people have, those limiting, that inner voice, right? Which is, this is out of reach.
Yes.
Or that person is too good. Or you're not good enough.
Yeah.
So how does one quieten this down? And on this note, I'm going to ask a question which I think could help a lot of people, because this conscious mind, subconscious mind is used a lot, but I don't think people understand it in depth.
Yeah.
I first understood it when I read Joseph Murphy's Power of the Subconscious Mind. I read it like 10 years ago, and I recommend that book to any and everybody.
Yes.
If you could give me a breakup of the conscious and the subconscious mind, and which is the place where that inner limiting factor or that limiting voice is coming from.
Yeah. So first of all, we know that we're all having memories, right? I can recall something that I've experienced a few years back, maybe even in my childhood. So that means every experience that you and I are having is getting downloaded and being saved inside what we call as a storehouse of information called the subconscious mind. Now, because we understand energy can neither be created nor destroyed, that means whatever I may have experienced even in my previous lives. Now, whether we believe in previous lives or not is a different concept altogether. But for just to understand that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, that means whatever I must have experienced must be with me in the form of energy.
Yeah.
Which is why, we also do so many rituals for our ancestors, because we believe that even their energy is with us.
Correct.
Right? Even people who have passed away. Why? Because we share memories with them. Just as, we have our genes coming from our parents and they have their genes coming from their parents, you also pass on emotional patterns to each other.
Yeah.
So it's not just the physical features and patterns, it's even the emotions, it's even the mental makeup, the attitude. So a big part of your consciousness is what we call as the subconscious.
Correct.
And this is where all the memories are being stored. So every time that, something happens in your life, you react, most of it is automatic, and that's coming from what we call as the subconscious, because most of the times you're not thinking and reacting, right? There's instantly a feeling that comes to you about something.
Yeah.
Your perception, that inner feeling, that intuition, all of that comes from the subconscious. Problem is, we don't know whether that feeling coming in is the right one or not. We can never tell. So that is why we need to always pause, reflect, and respond rather than react. Because most of the times that inner voice that could be coming, which I may mistake for, hey, this is God telling me to do this, which actually may not be the case. It may be the subconscious mind. And that is why you need to understand, where is that voice coming from? Is it supporting me, or is it making me go after something which is not meant for me? Right. So it's a very thin line between what is your passion, or what is your intuition, and what is inspiration. So what we want is inspiration. We don't want just mere intuition, because sometimes intuitions may not be right.
Correct.
So let's say I have my conscious mind. Okay, this is where I'm experiencing the world, right? Through my conscious mind, through my 5 senses. Then everything that I'm experiencing is getting downloaded into what we call as the subconscious.
Yeah.
So everything that is going on in the mind is ultimately going to show up in our lives, and it all happens through whatever is taking place in your body in the form of a vibration.
Correct.
That's why it is said mind is the movement and the body is the manifestation, the expression of whatever you're thinking. So 97 to 98%, that's what research tells us, is what your subconscious mind is. That means a person may be operating out of their subconscious mind without realizing that they're operating from their subconscious mind. How do we know that I'm operating from our subconscious mind? How do we know we're operating from our subconscious mind? Even if I think that, listen, everything is positive for me in my life and I'm doing great. Yet what may happen is sometimes you may not be going after what you really should be going after, because there's a counter thought, oh, no. I don't think I need to get there. I don't think this is possible for me. So that's when now you realize, through awareness of your subconscious mind, you will be able to realize whether your subconscious mind is stopping you or is it actually pushing you more towards your dreams.
Correct. So on this subject, I actually follow Dr. Joe Dispenza pretty actively.
Yeah.
And he talks about how the subconscious mind is a result of years of conditioning, right? From experiences, from painful memories, from negative thoughts, from certain things that were told to you, which eventually became belief systems.
That's right.
And this kind of feeds into your subconscious, where you start embodying those experiences as a forecast for the future. And then attracting those different circumstances into your life to satisfy the subconscious that, see, you were correct. That based on past experiences, you were able to predict a future. But what he tells and talks about is bringing back to the present and building a new narrative for yourself, building a new vocabulary for yourself. The nomenclature of so many different things that we attribute, right? Whether it is just how abundant you want your life to feel, or the different terms we use to describe things that automatically are in a negative tonality requires a shift, which, like you mentioned, and like most people who are in this space, or for years ago, even from spirituality, where we come from in India, is dhyana, which is you sit in silence. So my next question is going to actually be about that. Is the 2 most asked questions is how do we meditate? Like I get asked this so often that I sit and in 2 minutes I'm distracted. Or I'm bored. Or I fall asleep. And B, how do I be thoughtless? So now my question to you is, let's answer the how of it. How do you meditate? And second, does meditation really mean thoughtlessness, or does it mean being aware of your thoughts and bringing yourself back to the center? That you are getting these thoughts, but you're in meditation. Kind of come back, pull yourself back. So we'll start with the first question.
I think it's a very important question, because life depends on it. If you want to learn how to deal with stress and anxiety, remove doubt, remove fear, then you need to learn how to sit in silence. Now, first of all, I would put it that way. The first stage is not meditation. The first stage is always concentration. So you need to learn how to concentrate. Meditation is just third stage. The first stage is concentration. That means you begin to get your focus right. Now that focus could be simply just looking at, just observing the thought that is going on in your mind, observing your breath, maybe just allowing thoughts to come and go, but choosing to focus on something. That could be just numbers, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4. That could be your breath in, out, in, out. That could be sensations in your body. Any of these are possible.
And focus your attention there.
Yes, because you should learn how to concentrate, because you see, concentration allows you to control your energy. Concentration allows you to get more conscious control of the aura, the electromagnetic waves that you are emitting because of whatever is going on in your mind. So let's understand the subconscious mind is all the time working. So even if I'm not consciously thinking anything, my subconscious mind is working.
Right. It is the subconscious that allows you to
Yes.
sleep and take control of your bodily functions.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
So it's always active in that sense. Yeah.
So thoughts will come and go. Thoughts will come, thoughts will go. But if you allow them to come and go like passing clouds without reacting to them, then you are learning how to take conscious control of that moment. That's when you're bringing yourself in the present moment.
Correct.
The first stage, concentration. You could even be concentrating on your thumb
With your eyes open.
with your eyes open.
Okay.
Just learning how to concentrate.
Right.
That's the first step. Because what I have observed is people do not have good concentration skills, which is why they suffer in meditation. So concentration can be developed by as simple as focusing on an object maybe in front of you. It could be your thumb. Or like I said, if you are still a little better and you have done this before, at least you've tried before, then you can focus on your breath. Yet it will come and go, but slowly you will develop the concentration if you do it every day. Every day, if you spend at least maybe even twice a day, thrice a day, sitting even for 5 minutes each in concentration, it will help you.
Right.
The second stage is contemplation. Now you're going deeper. See, once you learn how to concentrate, now you actually get comfortable being with yourself. Now, this is also the stage where people can focus on any chosen form of the divine or Shakti they believe in. Why? Because that allows them to surrender their thoughts to that force. So many times in meditation, if you have that form, you have that source that you connect with, then after you learn how to concentrate, then thinking of that form and contemplating on that form can actually help you get rid of the negative thoughts that were affecting you. Because what will happen is, even if you're concentrating, because the subconscious mind is active, it can throw up some thoughts to you.
Correct.
Some thoughts from the past can come and that may upset you, and then you feel I was trying my best and this is coming up, and then you lose your concentration again. So second stage, if you have a source that you can focus on, great. If not, then you can simply go back to focusing on your breath, because now when you focus on your breath after concentrating for a couple of minutes, now you see you'll go deeper. Even if you don't have a form that you can connect with, you will start connecting with yourself. You will start enjoying the silence. So when people ask, how do I know I'm in the contemplation stage? You're enjoying your silent sitting. Now you're no longer thinking you're sitting in silence.
Or it's no longer a task to be like, I need to meditate.
Right. That effort is not there in the second stage. First stage, there is effort. You're learning to concentrate. You're concentrating. You're aware that you're concentrating. Second stage, it becomes effortless. And third stage is the stage of meditation. That means now you have lost total awareness of where you are. You're alert. Right? It's not like we lose consciousness in meditation. That's not necessary. But at this stage, you are so comfortable that there could be noise in the background. There could be noise around you in your environment, but nothing affects you.
You're just happy. You're just being.
You're just in the moment. And see, that is that stage, those depths of silence where you are actually able to hear the voice, your own inner voice, as we call the voice of God, or maybe your own inner voice. But the most important thing for me, and why meditation really is so important, is because it is only in these depths of silence that even God can hear your voice.
Wow.
Because many times, you're trying to manifest something, you're working so hard, you feel God is not listening. The source energy within me is not reacting, is not responding. There's nothing coming from that side. And that's what people come back and say, that doctor, I don't feel anything in meditation. Why? Why is it that I feel there is no one outside, out there trying to connect to me? Because you're looking outside, out there, no one is connecting. If you're actually going within and understanding that if you focus, learning how to concentrate on something, it could be as simple as your breath, it could be maybe an object, and then you go to the later stages and you do it every day consistently, then you are also allowing that source to come back to you. That could be in the form of a voice, it could be in the form of an image. Something will come to you from your core self, your core being, what we call as our divine self. And that most of the times can actually help you in your manifestation journey.
Right. It's a sign, or it's an intuition that guides you.
Yes.
The internal GPS.
Yes, yes.
So how is it that one can hone this skill? Because I think meditation it's an art. It's a skill. Like once you learn it, you know that there's no going back. In their very busy schedules, the first thing I get is, how do I find the time? So what do you think is an appropriate time for beginners, and how can we incorporate certain practices to assist in this process of at least becoming mindful going inwards?
Yeah. So first of all, I think consistency, discipline are going to be very important. So if you know that you have to do it, you have to do it on a daily basis, right? You cannot be telling yourself that I'm busy in the morning, so now I'll do it later. Same time, every day, same place, great. Because now your brain is becoming alert and sharp enough, and the subconscious mind is also now learning how to cooperate with you at that particular point in time. So if 9 o'clock is the time you want to meditate, every day 9 o'clock is when you should be meditating, not 5 minutes here and there. Because now the subconscious mind is going to be ready. So even before it's 9, your body is already ready to meditate.
It's habituated to meditating.
Yes, yes. That is very important. Besides, we know that the universe loves discipline. If you're disciplined, you're rewarded. There's no doubt about it. So if you really want to go ahead in this journey of meditation, go within, learn how to do it, same time, preferably same place, is very important.
Right.
The second thing is, in my own experience, morning is a wonderful time to do it because the mind is more receptive. And in fact, even before you take a shower, if you are not able to concentrate well, and if you are not able to control your thoughts, right? If you're not comfortable in meditation, you should do it before you take a shower.
Okay.
Let's say you wake up in the morning, and before you get out of bed, take your 10 minutes to sit in silence. Because that will aid you. You know, as we know, scientists have identified brain waves that correspond to different levels of consciousness. One of those is the alpha brain wave.
Right.
The alpha state is a state where by default we are in the first thing in the morning, because we're still groggy as we wake up and we still take some time. So the subconscious mind is pretty active at that point in time. So that is a good time to meditate, because now what will happen is your subconscious mind is still not very actively getting you those thoughts that you normally get as you get started with your day. So chances are that you may wake up and you are in the thoughtless state. Already. The first few minutes as you wake up. But what happens is most of us continue to lie on bed until maybe 10 to 15 minutes. And because we know we have not woken up at the time we should, now the mind is already running wild. Oh, I'm not being able to wake up. I have to do this, I have to do that. So you're already in that zone. Not that way. Wake up 10 minutes before you're supposed to wake up. Because now there is no stress. Use those 10 minutes for your silent sitting. Do it and see how much it benefits you, because chances are, if you are a little sleepy but still awake, conscious, and you sit straight, so no lying down and meditating.
Yeah, a lot of people think that it's okay to be like horizontal while meditating. Spine has to be erect.
Yeah, spine should be erect, because that will help you control the activity of the brain.
Correct. Yeah.
And if you want to control the activity and you want to ensure that there's not too much happening inside, sit straight and spend those 10 minutes. I would suggest for beginners, start with 10 minutes, because remember, quality is more important than quantity. There are people who say, I've been meditating for 2 hours, but if concentration is only 5 minutes, then rest of the time didn't matter at all. So concentration is important. So 10 minutes you start. If you're comfortable. If you're not, you do 5 minutes. But later go to, as far as I understand, 20 minutes is a doable time for most people.
Right.
So 20 minutes in the morning, if possible, 20 minutes you do later half of the day, maybe evening when you're back. If not 20 minutes, 10 minutes. So 30 minutes in a day is very doable for everyone to sit in silence. In fact, you'll enjoy it as you do it every day. You'll wait for it. Because it will help you realize how, stress is not something which is common. It's not something which should happen to everyone. In fact, stress is not a normal state. And as you sit in meditation, you learn how to surrender your thoughts as well. Because in manifestation, a big problem is surrendering, right? How do I surrender? How do I let go? Silent sitting. Silent sitting will teach you not to get too attached to the process of manifestation.
Correct. 100%. And I know that we even spoke about surrender the last time around.
Yes.
And it actually helped people to understand how do I let go from the desire and the outcome.
Yeah.
Another tool that we commonly speak about, I know you also commonly speak about, is journaling.
Yeah.
Another question that is always asked, what do I write? So I have had a varied response rate for this, where I've told people that, sometimes it's just thoughts that come out. What I personally do is I start writing in my journal. It's a yellow book with a red pen, and I write what I'm grateful for. I begin with gratitude. And then once I'm a place of that higher frequency, higher positivity, I go into some of the things that I want to achieve, whether on a day-to-day basis or whether the large long-term goals that I have for the year or 2 years or 3 years. What do you think is the ideal way to journal, and how can people journal?
I think gratitude, as you rightly said, is going to be a very important part of the process. But I would suggest people to do this, that if you have a goal you want to manifest and you're caught up with how it's going to happen, or is it going to happen or not, because that's a big problem. See, people sit with a journal, with a pen and paper, but they're thinking and doubting. Is it going to happen? When is it going to happen? So you see, that affects their day-to-day living, because they are in stress most of the times for things to happen fast. So then my suggestion is, if on a daily basis you open your pen, you open your book, you take a pen and you start writing down whatever it is that you would like to manifest, and what are the ways or what are the action steps you can take for that goal to be achieved quickly. So let's say your goal is to buy a house. You've written that goal down every day, okay, in your journal. Now think of what you could do today for this goal. Maybe looking out for places, maybe looking at some investments you could make, maybe look at some people you could speak to. Whatever action steps you can take, ideas, put your ideas down in the journal. If you start doing that, you become more familiar, one, with your goal. Two, you're opening up your subconscious mind to bring you answers. Now, when I had started journaling in this manner, the first 10 to 12 answers I used to feel rubbish. Okay, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. But sometimes the last answer that I've written before I've ended this exercise, that made sense. So basically what you're doing is you're learning how to collate your thoughts, organize your mind, and also keep pushing your subconscious mind into understanding that this goal is important for you, and it must bring you resources for this goal to manifest in your life. So for me, one of the best ways to journal is to put down ideas, at least 20 ideas every day. It doesn't take very long to do this exercise. 10 to 15 minutes. Write down as many ideas that you can get about your goal, how it can come about in your life. I'm not talking about the process of how it must happen, but I'm talking about what action steps you can take. For example, if one is looking for a job, right, then what are the companies you would want to work with? Would you want to share your profile with some companies, or would you want to speak to some people about it? Or do you want to do some research about the kind of profile you would want? Some ideas should be put down on paper, because we do get a lot of ideas, and sometimes they could be life-changing ideas. But you see, we don't take them seriously. And then they come and they go away. And so one of the best ways to actually journal is to put down your ideas, maybe some thoughts that you get about your goal.
And this is very interesting in the sense that how does one approach it with multiple goals, right? Like everybody has goals in different areas of their life. It could be job, it could be partner, it could be promotion, it could be travel. So how does one use this technique to ideate in that sense? Because I don't think writing 20 ideas per goal is feasible. So how can one use that?
Take one goal. One major priority
per day.
Yes. Okay. In fact, I would suggest, if you really have something big to manifest, okay, that your life depends on, you feel this is it, I want this and I want this quickly, then just focus on one goal. Other goals you take as affirmations. You engage with the idea of that goal manifesting, but journal with only one big goal. So let's say you have 3 to 4 goals. Choose one goal that you feel, I need anyhow in my life right now. I would want it right now, this very moment. And you want it really, really, really with all your heart. Start doing the journal practice for that particular goal. Because if you mix other goals, what will happen is the subconscious mind will also divide its attention. And then it could be confusion, which we don't want.
Yeah.
So I would suggest take one goal and journal with that goal. But other goals, that doesn't mean you're not going to focus on. You can do other things about the goal. Like you can express gratitude for having that goal already realized. You can visualize for those goals. But journaling, only one goal, one
Very
at a time.
interesting. Okay. All right. Also, a big concept when we're talking about the law of attraction, when we're talking about manifestation, is accountability, right?
Yeah.
Where you kind of take accountability and ownership of your actions,
Yeah.
of the things in your life currently and of
Yeah.
the things that are to come.
Yes.
So, how can one engage with the idea of accountability without going down self blame or self doubt, right? Like in the movie The Secret, or even a book that I've read by Neville Goddard, it's like you talk about a concept and say that I didn't attract this breakup, or I didn't attract this losing my job,
Yeah.
or I didn't attract being unhealthy, for example.
Yeah.
And all of these thought leaders kind of talk about, on some level, you did. So,
Yeah.
how do you get into that acceptance in a positive way?
I think if you understand your mind, if you invest some time every day in understanding how your mind works, how do vibrations work, then you will develop more faith in this process. A problem is we don't know enough about the mind. See, we were not taught about this subject called the mind in school.
And it's the most relevant
Yes.
subject
Yes.
that one
Yes.
can teach children, especially.
Yes. In fact, whenever I interact with children, this is the first thing I tell them, that you have a conscious mind, but you have a subconscious mind, right? And everything that you're saying is getting downloaded
In your subconscious.
and it's going to come back. And one of the questions that children often ask me is, so whatever I say can become a reality? Whatever I say can become true? So you see, children also will start engaging with this idea that there are no limitations if they understand that everything that they are saying, speaking, doing is causing a vibration in the body. So this knowledge and information about vibrations is very important. If you start having that knowledge, you'll develop faith, because faith comes from understanding. So acceptance also will come only if, first of all, you understand how your mind works. See, we don't know how we are manifesting things in our lives. Things are happening to us. So understanding about the subject is very important. The second way is how the yogis have learned about their mind, about their connection with the divine, about source energy, silent sitting. So the other way is you got to sit in silence to understand yourself better. It's like spending time with someone. You see, when you spend time with them, then you engage with each other, and that's how you develop an understanding about each other. That's how you develop that connect, that relationship. It's the same with the universe and that source energy as well. That is extremely important.
Right.
The other thing is, if you really want to accept that you are responsible for creating your own life, observe. Observe how you're feeling and what is the result coming. There is always a correlation. If you're feeling good, then chances are that you will attract something good in your life. Why? Because you're coming from a vibration. You get what you vibrate. This is important for all of us to keep reminding ourselves. How do I know it is true? How do I know that this makes sense? This could just be theory.
Yeah.
What do we do? Very simple. Every day when you wake up, just observe the thought that is going on and the feeling that is going on within you, and think of what it is that you would like to attract. Now see how, as you're shifting the thought, the feeling is also shifting. So shifting the feeling is very doable. That means if I'm shifting my feeling consciously, I'm feeling much better. When I didn't have a good thought, I get butterflies in my stomach. I get nervous, right? I'm not able to speak well. I can't communicate well. On the other hand, if the thought is, hey, you're a confident person, you can speak so well, everybody likes you, everybody is going to support you. Suddenly you walk with confidence. Suddenly body language changes. So you know that thoughts and feelings are affecting what is coming about in your life. Besides, we spoke of the vibrations part, that today there is enough scientific evidence to understand that all of us are giving out energy. Now we can capture our energies, right? You have those you have those machines that can capture your electromagnetic waves as well. Just as we had the ECG for the heart, and we've also been having the EEG for the brain, we also have an MEEG, magnoelectroencephalograph, which captures your energy, your electromagnetic waves. Now you understand, if it's a good thought, the energy being emitted from you is very different. So now that you are aware of these things, you can become more conscious of what is coming from you. And once you become aware of what is coming from you, with practice, every day with practice, you will keep reminding yourself, I have to speak sweetly, softly, lovingly. Even if somebody is not giving me a good response, if I keep thinking of the hurt that they are causing me, I'm sending more energy there. Right. So thoughts create your fate. If you give love, you get love. If you give hate, you get hate. And that is one of the best ways to keep reminding yourself to, accept and move forward.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that that's why the disposition of people is either positive or negative. Either, there are some people who are just positive, who have that energy, that radiance, that vibration about them. And there are some people who just see the negative. And you can tell them apart in terms of the energy, in terms of the vibration. It brings me to the next segment, which is a science of manifestation. I think this is super important because with Realign, what we're looking to do is provide a confluence of science, spirituality, and wellness, where you're tickling both sides of the brain, which is right and left.
Yes.
A lot of people on the internet, in debates, the word manifestation itself has become a little bit, it's so passe, everybody wants to manifest. Right. But what people don't understand is that there is a science behind it. So that's what we want to kind of explore with you. So we spoke with Sid Warrior, who's an expert in neuroscience. And I asked him all kinds of questions on energy, vibration, frequency, and the science behind manifestation. And he was skeptical. He said that I'm not sure on a scientific lens, if by laboratory tests I'll be able to tell you that your brain has some electromagnetic wave around it, etc. Because I quoted Dr. Joe Dispenza and said that this is what he says, right? Your energy field literally expands when your energy and your vibration releases that excess energy as you're meditating. So my first question is there scientific evidence to support the concepts of law of attraction and manifestation?
If you look at the works of Albert Einstein, you have scientists like Thomas Young. In those quantum theories, what they are exploring is how matter is created from energy. And that's what we have learned in physics as well, right? Why do we say that attraction is a science? Because we've understood that every time there is a thought, there is energy released at some level. There is a thought. Where is the energy going? So we understand that the energy from you and through you is going outside, right? It has to have a landing place, basically.
It has a place to release.
Yes. Now, what these scientists, in fact, a lot of people debate this, whether Einstein actually said it or not. As much as we understand and we have read, Albert Einstein did say that everything is energy. And if you read his quantum theory as well, there are references to this point. Now, he says that everything is energy, and match the frequency of the reality you want. Then you will not be separate from that reality. If you look at some of the experiments done in the field of quantum mechanics, there's an experiment called double slit experiment.
Okay.
In the double slit experiment, what they did was they tried to understand that how is it that something which is observed gets a very different result and a reaction. So let's say I'm observing something, okay? If I'm observing something, naturally I'm coming from my perception. So they say, how is it that when you observe something, it appears very different? But when you don't have an observer brought into the picture, then the result could be very different. That means matter can actually behave as waves, or it can behave as a simple energy in one straight line, depending on how you are looking at it. So let's say if I am looking at something and I have this perception about how is it going to appear, that's how it appears, even in that experiment. So that's when they said that, listen, there must be an observer effect. That means there is only an universe when there is an observer. Where there is no observer, there is no universe. And is it debatable? Of course it is.
Yeah.
It is still debatable.
Right.
But if you look at a metaphysician's point of view, because I'm a metaphysician, I will go by experience.
Okay.
There is no scientific evidence of a divine force, but we all know we are coming from a source, right? There has to be a creator, there's a creation.
Right.
In the same manner, I know for sure that if there is a thought, there is a reaction of that thought in my own body. And if there is a reaction of that thought in my own body, that means I better be aware of what I'm thinking, because it's all taking place inside me. So is there scientific evidence? Yes, because like we spoke of today, we have machines that can capture our aura. In fact, if you stretch your arm out and you observe with the naked eye, there's nothing that can be seen. But if you use an appropriate microscope and you study this arm, you will find that electrons that make this arm are actually vibrating. But obviously, I don't feel the vibration unless I'm moving my arm consciously. But then there is a vibration that is going on which is not visible, right? Which is not felt. So certainly, thoughts do become things, because today if I close my eyes and cross the road, chances are that I may not survive. Right? But if I become conscious that, listen, I want to cross the road and, I have to be aware and alert, naturally the result is going to be different. That means I am somewhere through my thought and feeling and action impacting a result.
Correct.
And that is enough for us to understand that we can change our lives, because we can gain conscious control of the energy that we are putting out.
Right. There was even an experiment where particles of water that were frozen were observed by people, two separate sets of people. And then they were asked to, one group was asked to project negative words on this particle, and the others were asked to project positive words. And you saw that the first dish kind of like, it became mucky, it became almost dark, and the second formed like beautiful ice droplets. How is it possible that the power of words had such a physical manifestation at the molecular level? Forget who that test was, I'll add the name.
Dr. Masaru Emoto.
Yeah, that's the one.
So people have been debating that as well.
Okay.
There have been articles against it, but it can be tried at home. Simple. Even if you have some cooked rice in your house, okay, put them in 2 jars and stick love in 1 jar, or just give love energy. Just rub your palms, place them around that jar, okay? Next 2 days, observe what happens to the rice. Now, generally cooked rice does not last, but the one that you're giving love energy will be much better than the one where no love energy is given. So forget even writing hate in the other jar. Just don't do anything with the other jar.
Just leave it be.
Just leave it. But just keep giving love to this jar, even twice a day. And 2 days, you'll observe the difference. That's the power of thoughts.
That's the power of thoughts. And the feeling and the energy.
The feeling and the energy, yes.
My next question is, are there any specific neural pathways or brain region associated with the act of manifestation? And can you explain how our beliefs really shape our reality on a neurological level?
I think if you observe your results, that's the starting point for you. If you know that you're struggling in any particular area of your life, obviously your brain is wired in a certain way for that particular area. It's very simple. Let's say somebody is suffering in relationships. Let's say they haven't got the ideal partner, or they've not had good experiences when it comes to relationships. Observe, what are your thoughts about relationships? Maybe the thoughts are that, relationships don't last. It's not easy to find someone, or maybe I don't have someone in my life that can understand me enough. Maybe it's too late, or maybe I'm just not meant for relationships. There could be several thoughts. The fact that once you identified an area where you're lacking, you've got so many thoughts and opinions, clearly means that your brain and the electrons, neurons, electrons, protons, everything inside is working in a certain pattern for you in that direction.
Correct.
That means the vibration that is going on in my body for that particular area could be of a negative nature if the result in my life in that area is negative in nature. So if you want to get rid of those beliefs, what you need to do is, one, identify those beliefs, and two, think of the positive reverse of whatever negative is going on. How do we know that I need to change a belief? That's a big problem. People say, but this belief is not a bad belief. Should I change this belief? Do I need to change a belief? Simple. If you're happy with the results in that area, go ahead, continue to hold on to that belief. But if the results in that area are not good, you need to look at what it is that could be blocking the success in that area. In fact, it's very simple. Once you identify your negative beliefs, also try and reverse them into positive and write down some new positive beliefs you would like to develop for that area. For example, I'm lucky when it comes to relationships. The right person comes into my life easily. All my relationships add a lot of value to me. My relationships bring me a lot of success, peace, harmony, happiness. As they start saying this, they'll realize that the way they approach things now are very different. So how do we know this actually affects our results? It's going to change how you feel. The moment you start identifying certain positive beliefs that you would like to develop for a certain area in your life, notice how you think different, you speak different, you talk different, you do different. And your reactions also start changing, which is why we say that it just takes about a day or two for you to realize how important and how powerful a force exists within you, which is called the mind.
You know, when you were saying these affirmations, and I know a lot of people also talk about affirmations, I feel like every part of this process is debated. There is that inner voice sometimes, because your beliefs are so hard set in your circumstances, in your experiences, where it's not manifest in body, right? Like you can't, the partner's not actually there, or the promotion or the house isn't tangible. That little voice comes with says, it's not true, or you're lying. You know, when you try to shift the narrative from negative to positive. What does one do when that happens? Especially when you're trying to affirm a positive narrative from something that's not yet manifest.
First of all, repetition is the mother of learning. So even while you're not feeling something as you're saying it, you need to understand that the subconscious mind was programmed through repetition. And it can only be reprogrammed through repetition. It can be reprogrammed, however, with an event or an experience that completely shakes you and your belief. But most of the time, such experiences are negative in nature and they're not in your control. So the only other way out for us is repetition. So first of all, even if I'm not feeling it, now that I understand that I am training my mind to engage with this idea more progressively by repeating it daily, then one will not stop. The other thing is, you can do certain things to enjoy the process of affirming. Come in front of a mirror, smile at yourself. Besides, when I started my journey of affirmations, I would always remind myself that this is something good, right? Like when I'm giving myself a thought like everyone loves me and supports me, it's a good thought. Why not give myself this thought? There's no harm in giving myself this thought.
What's the worst that could happen?
What could happen? Besides, I used to feel better. At least as to tell myself, you know what, I've lived my life in a certain way. I've been thinking negative about myself, about how people treat me. This feels better, no? If I compare the two thoughts, this idea is an idea I want to engage with, that everybody loves me. That idea that nobody treats me well hurts me. So I would rather not give myself those thoughts. I would rather try to be a little different and maybe start practicing this for some time. I had given myself 3 months. I said, in 3 months, if this works, great. If not, this is not for me. But in 3 months, I never stopped because it really helped me so much. So,
how did it help you? Let's talk about the specifics, right? Because people love hearing about other people's experiences. 2 questions over here, which I was anyways leading into. The first is, would love to hear what happened to you after 3 months. And you said, it isn't for me. We've discussed a lot of concepts, from meditation to journaling to affirmations to maybe even visualization. what is the ideal mix? Because it can get overwhelming for people to be like, okay, I have to do everything now.
Yeah.
So what is it that you did, and what happened after 3 months?
So I started, with a simple practice of using positive words.
Okay.
But I did not get one book that could just give me a few things to do every day. So I decided to write a book. So that's when I wrote the book Healing Power of Words. Because in that situation that I was in, I had read some wonderful books, but then I could not apply everything from that book in my life. It was too overwhelming for me. So I decided to form some strong, powerful, positive statements for myself. Every day, I would give myself one statement. It could be as simple as, today is a day of miracles. And I would repeat that statement for about, in fact, 7 days. I would repeat one statement for 7 days. Then I would go on to a next statement. So I started with simple using positive words.
Okay.
And I started to observe that these words make me feel much better. In fact, I realized that there's something within me that is yearning to hear these positive words. And I realized that maybe I haven't heard those words enough. And so why not give these words to myself? I started feeling better. And I started to realize that the anger, the suppression of emotions, the sadness, because I would notice that there would be a lot of emotions within me and I could not find expression of those emotions right outside. But by using positive words, it's like applying a balm, to that wound. And it just started to feel better. That was the first thing. The second thing I started to do was I started to write all the things that I want to experience. I would write every day. I would take 5 to 10 minutes and every day I would write that I am so happy and grateful now that I am, experiencing positive changes in every area of my life. Then I would define those changes. I'm in my ideal body weight because weight is an area I was struggling in. Relationships I was struggling in simply because I never felt I was important enough to be important for anyone. That was the problem. And a lot of times you realize that there are counter intentions going on in your mind. That means you want to do something, but there's a voice which tells you, no, that's not for you.
Yeah.
I remembered I did not take up science, even though I was very good in my studies, because I felt it will be too much for me to take. There'll be a lot of pressure. Although I was very, very interested. But I said, no, maybe that will be too much for me. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. So I was actually stopping myself from taking certain steps which are good for me simply because confidence was low, simply because, negativity was there inside, not feeling good about yourself was there. So after I started to write whatever I want to experience, these ideas began to become more familiar to my subconscious mind. And then it's almost like you open gateways to your subconscious mind, right? It's like a watchman. Until then, now you surpass the watchman and you go inside the building. That's what started to happen. I started to get comfortable with my goals, which was not the case earlier. As I started writing them every day, my goal would not be something which would make me fearful. It would excite me. So I started to notice excitement is going up. The third thing that I practiced, and I believe everyone has to practice, is forgiveness. You have to. I believe we're all here because we haven't forgiven enough. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. There is something that you're still carrying within you, which is why you're getting another chance to let go of in this lifetime. And when I started to look at forgiveness as something I'm doing for my own well-being, things started to change. Otherwise, there was hurt. There was bitterness.
Yeah.
And that didn't feel good. In fact, sometimes there would be emotions like jealousy. There would be emotions like resentment. But that started to melt as I started to give importance to forgiveness. And I would always suggest that you write the forgiveness. Don't visualize it, because sometimes visualization is not comfortable, especially if the hurt is more, especially if the experience is very deep-rooted. Write the forgiveness. Every day, write. So I used to write every day. I used to take my full name and say, completely forgive and bless, and the person's full name. I started doing that. That was one important practice I did for those 3 months that I gave myself. The next that I did was I would visualize myself having achieved whatever I wanted to achieve. It was very difficult to visualize myself in my ideal body weight. I couldn't see it because there was no image and picture of myself in my ideal body weight. I couldn't visualize myself. So what I started to do was I started to imagine having conversations with people, where I would just focus on the conversation, not on my body. Somebody asking me, hey Karishma, how did you lose so much weight? What were you doing? And I would say, No, I'm telling you, this is just about your mind. It's all about how you think and feel about yourself. I would imagine that conversation. Lo behold, in few months, I started having that conversation with people. People started asking me exactly what I was imagining.
Wow.
How did you lose weight? What are you doing? Are you exercising? And I'm replying, no, I'm just happier now. I'm just comfortable the way I am. The weight is just coming down on its own. That's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened because I didn't do anything special. There was no special exercise. There was no diet. It just came off. Until then, I was struggling. So I remember that phase where I wanted to get to size 0 and I did, only to put on the weight all the way back. That's exactly what happened with me. And then I used to feel worse. Listen, I've lost 25 kgs. Now I'm putting on weight again. It was a very difficult phase. But as I started to become comfortable being myself by speaking positive, sitting in silence, visualizing, doing my forgiveness, it all started to happen on its own. It started to happen effortlessly.
And you were just doing the same amount of exercise, the right diet, all of those things.
In fact, I'll be honest, I had stopped exercising altogether. Because I was so tired exercising, I was so tired overdoing and overstretching myself that I had just completely told myself to relax for some time. Let's just take it, one day at a time. Let's not do anything for now. Let me just work on my mind. But I'll tell you something interesting that happens when you do that. When you work on yourself and your emotions, you become more aware and alert. That means now you're conscious of what you're putting in your mouth. Until then, it was a task, right? Because emotional eating, you want to eat all the time when you're unhappy. That used to happen with me. But that stopped. And I didn't have to discipline myself. No. Because of the positive thoughts, automatically you see, your spirit guides you. So now I would stop eating when I knew that, no, I think this is enough for me. Or no, I don't want to eat because I'm not feeling good. That stopped. So that's what I tell people. When you give yourself positive thoughts, you give your subconscious mind what it needs. It needs love, it needs attention, and it needs understanding. You give it these 3 things, it will start becoming your partner in success. It will stop giving you those self-sabotaging thoughts that, listen, I want to eat or nobody loves me. Those thoughts started to come down. Because those thoughts started to come down, I started becoming more conscious of what I'm doing.
Correct.
That is, of course, even including the food that I was eating. Most importantly, how I was treating myself changed. I started to take better care of my hair, my body. I would focus more on what I'm wearing. I would write some positive thoughts for myself. I would look at myself in the mirror and smile. And few days, it seemed very mechanical when I started off. But you see, a couple of weeks later, it started happening more naturally. And 3 months ended, I did not stop.
Wow.
In fact, the forgiveness continued for almost 2 years.
That's amazing. What are some of the things that happened after the 3 months? You, of course, you said that you automatically started losing weight. Any other shifts in other areas of your life that you can talk about?
Relationships. Relationships were always a struggle. But I realized that communication started to improve. I started to accept myself better, which is why people wanted to talk to me more. I had people who were not speaking to me suddenly starting to come back into my life, wanting to get in touch with me, wanting to connect with me, helping me, supporting me, encouraging me. Until then, I always felt people are criticizing. People are pulling you down for no reason. That started to change. A big change I found in the relationship area is the kind of people I was attracting. I started to attract people who are positive, who are cheerful, who understand me better. I started to make some amazing friendships. And I didn't have to work very hard to find those friendships or to keep them. Absolutely right. It was effortless. That happened. The third thing that I observed and the big change was in the ideas that I was getting, the clarity I had. Until then, there was a lot of confusion in the mind. Thinking about myself, my career, because I was struggling so much that those thoughts of how I'm supposed to progress in life, honestly, were not in my mind at that point in time. But when the positive shifts started to happen, I started to, focus more on, okay, what do I need to do? How do I go about my life further? What is it that I really need to do? So those thoughts started to come, clarity started to come, and you begin to be in the right place at the right time. That's what began to happen. So a lot of things happened effortlessly after that. Not to mention, of course, even the finances improve. When you work on your energy, everything improves, because energy within you is just one, which is going to every area of your life. So I remember for fun, I had written in my vision board, manifesting the first 30,000 rupees. And the 30,000 for me, because I wasn't working at that point in time. That was just something which I just wrote because I felt, okay, let me just put the amount, put a number. Within 2 months, I attracted the 30,000 because I had an opportunity to speak. And for me, at that point in time, was not something I was doing professionally. But the opportunity just came. And they said, you know what, we're having an event and we need your help. Would you like to help us out? And I was like, great, I'm going to do it. And guess what? You're going to be paid 15,000 for 2 days. So that's 30,000 exactly that I attracted. Now that's when I realized that this thing really works.
And it's not a coincidence.
It's not a coincidence. And then the confidence went up.
Yeah. Amazing. To summarize this segment, the very many things that we've learned and discussed, what is it that people can begin to do simply? Let's try to accommodate this in their busy schedules. Your top 3 things that people can begin to do and commit to for the next 3-month period, and if it goes well from there, starting today.
1, write your goals down in the present tense as if they've already been realized. So I would begin the statement with, I'm so happy and grateful now that. Complete the sentence with whatever it is that you want to attract. Because if you don't do that, you will never become familiar with your goal. And your subconscious mind will not do anything to make it a reality, because it's not going to find it serious enough.
Correct.
A thought inside your mind. So 1, write your goals down every day. It could be few times in a day, but write your goals down. If writing is not possible, speak them aloud. Come in front of a mirror and use the same words, I'm so happy and grateful now that, and complete the sentence. 2nd, I would say, practice forgiveness, because letting go is important. So whatever it is that's bothering you, remember it's bringing your vibration down. And you need to be in a positive vibration to manifest your goals. If you want to manifest quickly, have a clean heart. So let go of your past. The 3rd, practice gratitude. Pull out something positive from your day every day. Because if you do that, you're training your subconscious mind to look for the good even in challenging situations. And you will experience challenges when you are going after your goals.
Of course.
There will be disappointments, there will be failures. At that time, you don't want to keep the attitude that, oh, why did this happen to me?
Or it doesn't work out for me.
Yes. If you have that attitude of pulling out the good in everything, and you're training your mind to do that through the gratitude practice, you will never give up. And according to me, once you identify what you want, giving up is never an option. Don't give up. Persist until you win, and you will achieve your goal, whatever your goal is.
Amazing. The next segment is actually very interesting because I have very little knowledge about it. So it's piqued my interest.
Okay.
You are a metaphysical counselor.
Yeah.
That term is not very operational. People haven't heard of that particularly. So what typically entails a metaphysical counselor, and how does it assist in one's personal development?
It's all about emotions.
Right.
Everything starts with understanding what your deeper need is and what emotions do you currently experience in your life. If you observe your own body, every part of your body actually speaks to you. Depending on whatever is going on in your life, the body will react in that particular way. I've often observed that people do have problems with their shoulders or their back because they feel burdened. I've often seen people have problems with their liver when they have anger issues. So my job as a metaphysical counselor is to first of all understand what are the problems one is experiencing in their life. Also understanding what is their priority right now. So let's say somebody's going through a health challenge. Helping them identify and get clear about what is it that they would like to experience. Most people will come back and say, I know I will not get completely well, but at least let me survive. And then I tell them that, if you want to get completely well, and you could, then we would go for that goal. We would not go for just simply reducing the pain. I would go for the ultimate result, which is healing completely from this issue. So as a metaphysical counselor, for me, my job is to understand where people are coming from, what their emotional mental patterns are that could be creating blockages in any particular area of their life, whether it's health, relationships, or finances. And I make them go through certain processes to actually start reducing their stress and their anxiety. And once the stress and the anxiety comes down, then I would want to, through certain practices, instill faith in them to now start going after what they really want.
Wow, that's amazing. And this extends to every aspect.
Every aspect.
So, in your experience as a metaphysical counselor, can you give me one or two incidents where these techniques or these practices have brought about a shift, just so that people get that faith that it's possible?
Yeah. So I had a woman, and this happened recently. She was aged 42, and she was told that she could not conceive. And she told me that she's had many IVF treatments. When she came to me, she told me, doctor, maybe this is not meant for me. Just help me accept that this is not meant for me. And I told her, I said, but would you really want it? And she said, but doctor, it's not possible. Everyone's told me medically it's not possible. I said, but do you really want it? And she said, yes, I would. I said, that's it. We'll work on that. 6 months later, she gets pregnant naturally.
Wow.
In spite of 6 failed IVFs.
Oh my God. And this is naturally.
And this is naturally. And she said, doctor, if this can happen, anything can happen. Because this is not possible. And she says, when I went to the same doctor, the doctor said, what were you doing? What did you do? Sometimes these things can happen. This is a miracle. This is a miracle in your life, okay? So God is happy with you. This is what she said, the doctor said. We know, but we worked on it. We worked on her mind. We worked on her energy. We worked on her emotions. We worked on her energy. And we know that these things really work. And this is just one of. There's so many other cases where people have overcome health issues and health challenges. What is interesting is people don't expect changes in their finances. A lot of the times when they come with issues like anger and anxiety and stress, when they start working on helping themselves feel better, they start gaining improvements in their finances, and they least expect it. But interesting fact is that, forgiveness and finances are always related. So if you do really start feeling better and you let go of certain things in your life, money energy opens up. Wow. So I had a person who was in debt, okay? He owed a lot of money to people, but he also had some people who had never paid him back. And he said, those people have absconded. They're not going to come back. And it's been years. I said, you know what? Nothing is too difficult for the universe. So we will pray and we will affirm every day that universe opens the space for us to receive so that we can give whatever we receive. And we had a certain amount that we kept in mind, that every month he should be receiving that much amount.
An exact figure.
Exact figure. Again, to arrive at that figure was a challenge, because most of the times he was giving me a figure that he felt is possible. I told him, I said, don't give me a figure that you think is possible. Stretch your mind. At least double the figure that you think is possible.
Wow.
Because if you do that, now you're pushing your subconscious mind into believing that you are deserving of that amount.
Yeah.
And he started to do that. And something wonderful happened. He said in few weeks, a cousin of his, who he was not in touch with at all, came to visit him. And this cousin of his doesn't seem to be the kind of person to offer help. But this person suddenly offered him help, which was an exact amount he had to owe someone in about a week's time. And that happened. He came back to me a little disappointed. He says, doctor, it's still an amount I'll have to pay back to my cousin, right?
It's not mine.
It's not mine. It doesn't feel that good. Maybe the manifestation is not working. I said, no. This is a sign. This is a sign that rest of your desires and aspirations are going to come true. Take it like a sign. So it is said that before Columbus actually found America, they say that, he found signs. He saw birds and he felt that the land is near. And let's look at this as a sign that what you want is also coming. So don't be disappointed. Be very grateful for this money that has come into your life. And he said, okay, I'm going to go back and do exactly that. He continued doing that. He was grateful for every small amount that used to come to him. The first thought initially that used to come to him was, oh, this is nothing.
It's not even my money.
Yeah. And this is not enough to pay. But then he started to change that. He started to be grateful for everything that was coming. And he found a job. He was looking for a job for over a year. He found a job in 3 to 4 months of time that we were working. And on that job, he found a woman that he decided to get married to. All of this happens in a few months' time. And this woman tells him, listen, you have this much amount you owe to someone. I'll give you the money, okay? Let's just pay off your debt and let's just be free of this. So he said, you know what, doctor, my debts are gone. I've paid off all my debts. But now I want to manifest big money. The debt is gone. And that's when, the amount that he was working on a monthly basis, that's what he started to engage with more. So initially, obviously, his focus was to pay off the debt. After that, he started working on, okay, now I want to make more money. Now I want to make more money. So that's when his monthly income goal, he started to take more seriously. He started to engage with more. And no surprises, he started to manifest, I won't say exact amount, but he came very close to the amount that he had put as a monthly income that he wanted to make. So this story really shows how a person can come out of debt, even in that stressful situation. If you give yourself positive statements, positive thoughts, if you learn how to connect with your subconscious mind in a certain way, then nothing is impossible.
Yeah. That's so powerful. Amazing. I think that more people should engage with this counseling and wow. Okay, so now we have something interesting lined up where we've categorized the questions basis theme.
Okay.
Because these are the loosely 4 or 5 categories where people have the most questions or want the most manifestation. Let's talk about love. You just mentioned that from struggling with relationships to, you just said that you have a 6-month-old at home. Congratulations on that. The question that I have in this topic is so many people, while using the law of attraction, feel like it's not possible for me because of love, but also on a level where there's something known as free will. You can't manifest for somebody. You can't manifest a particular person into your life or control how that person looks at you. That's not your domain. What does one do in 2 scenarios? One where you really feel like you want to attract that person into your life because on some level you feel and know that this person is for you. And then the second question is, how does one simply attract the right partner into their lives?
Okay. I think it comes down to, first of all, understanding what deeper need do you have within yourself. If you're clear about how somebody is going to complement you, how somebody is going to fulfill you in a certain way, not that you're lacking something and somebody has to fulfill you, but just add that spark and that energy into your life, then if you've identified it well, the chances are that you will attract someone who possesses those qualities. So if you're looking for a relationship, be very clear about what you want to see in a person. But I would suggest people to do 2 things. One is make a list of what you want to experience in another person. Also make a list of the qualities that you would want to give in that relationship, because that balances the energies.
Right.
So if you make that list, automatically the subconscious mind knows that you are going to receive and you're going to give. And so you will not lack in any one area, because if giving is more, receiving is less, there's a problem, and vice versa. So relationships energy actually is one of the easiest to work on in my experience, because people already have a deep need for love. And love makes them feel good. As an emotion, they connect with it. And so be clear about what you want to see in a person, but be open about how it can happen. If you are too fixated with how it should happen, I should meet somebody in my workplace only. It'll be nice to meet somebody here, or I would want somebody with a certain background. I tell them, if you are being specific, it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. It has happened. For example, when I saw my husband, I knew I'm going to get married to him.
The first time
the first instant was that he's going to be someone I'm going to get married to. That instant feeling, the thought came. And after that, it was just about channeling my energy in the right direction and being positive about it. So if you have somebody specific, because this question is often asked, can I go after somebody specific? You don't want to want something so much that you fear losing it. So if you want someone and it comes from a deeper need inside of you, from your own core self, go for it. But don't be so attached. that you have that fear that this may not happen. Because if you're desperate, desperation is low energy.
Yeah.
It's a low vibration. Focus on why you want to be with that person rather than this person, why you want to be with that person. Because then you keep your energy open for that person to come into your life.
Yeah.
Besides, I always believe that one has to trust the divine and the divine timing as well. Everything takes time. A baby would take 9 months to make his or her debut on the planet. So we need to understand that sowing and reaping does not happen in the same season. So sometimes your goal, even if it's a relationship, may take time. Maybe you're meeting the wrong people, but maybe they're all stepping stones to attracting the right person in your life. So take it like a sign. How Columbus took it like a sign. Take every wrong relationship also as a sign that the right one is coming. So at all points in time, hold on to what you want in a person. Hold on to what you want to seek or you're looking for in that relationship. And all the way keep reminding yourself that you deserve to have it. And if you have a specific person in mind, okay, be positive about it, but don't be desperate. Because if you're desperate, you're blocking that energy.
Coming from the previous segment, are there any metaphysical techniques that one can apply, simply put, to attract that relationship into their life?
Okay, but a specific relationship or any relationship? Is there a life partner relationship?
A life partner relationship. This is just about love. We'll come into other relationships later.
So when it comes to a life partner, I think if you had to apply one particular tool, I would suggest work on self-love first. Because your partner, especially your life partner, is going to be an exact reflection of what is going on within you for your own self. Because all the respect you want, the love that you want, the support that you want from that one person, your subconscious mind wants from you. So I would suggest connect with your subconscious mind. We use the word inner child for the subconscious mind because we believe the inner child, the subconscious mind is like that small child who only imitates, accepts, doesn't know how to reject. So go back to some negative experiences of your life. It could be experiences relating to love. It could be experiences relating to other relationships in your life. But remove that baggage first and ensure that your energy is clean. The second thing is start writing and making one statement about your relationship that you would like to attract. So I would include qualities of the person and I would include the fact that, I deserve to have it. So let's say I'm so happy and grateful now that I have attracted a person in my life as my partner who's so loving and kind and compassionate, right? You can add any adjectives you want. And then I would talk to my inner child about that statement. So I would talk to my inner self like, hey, you know what? Wouldn't it be wonderful for us to have this person? Don't you think this person is going to add so much more love into our lives? So let's let go of anything that comes in the way. And I would talk to my inner child maybe through a mirror. You can talk to your inner child through a photograph of yours, a childhood photo of yours. When people start doing this, they realize that the blockages they were holding for this relationship to come into their life suddenly starts to melt. They start feeling more confident about having this person. Most of them come back and say, I feel it's going to happen. Somehow I have that feeling it's going to come very, very soon in my life. The right person is going to come. Now, when you're in that vibration, that you're expecting it, it's going to come very fast.
Yeah.
So I would say work with any old past traumas you have because that affects your relationship. Any negative incidents in your life, work with your inner child. Talk to your inner child about the relationship you want to attract. Wouldn't it be wonderful? The moment you start with the words, wouldn't it be wonderful? You automatically let the inner child get positively involved with the idea that you deserve to have this person who, in your statement you're describing, is loving, kind, compassionate, understanding, supportive, handsome, beautiful, whatever you would want to add. And I would also go back to the first practice I spoke of, which is always look at what you want to give in the relationship as well. So let's say I have made a list of the qualities I want and the qualities I would also want to put, all the things I would want to put in the relationship. I would stick this somewhere so that every time I'm looking at that sheet, my subconscious mind gets an idea, oh, she's going to put love and she's going to get support. She's going to put understanding and she's going to get affection. So it works wonderfully in balancing your energy. The masculine, the feminine energy also need to be balanced. There's always a give and a take in life. And so when this list is before you, it helps the subconscious mind understand that, oh, she's looking for this, but she's also willing to give. So we have to give and we will receive. We will receive and we will give.
Yeah.
So that opens up the energy and makes the subconscious mind more joyfully cooperate with you towards that relationship. So one, make the list, keep the list before you, read the list aloud every day. Two, work with your inner child for the relationship. Let the inner child know that you're ready for the relationship and that you really deserve the relationship.
Wow. That's amazing. And I think very actionable for people to do.
That's right.
We move on to the second segment, which is family. Now, you spoke a lot about trauma and healing from past experiences. A lot of trauma comes actually from your childhood, from experiences that you lived either with family or relatives or even in schools, right? Like there's so many incidents that I look back when we were schooling and certain things which were so okay of other kids, bullying. It's just, it causes that permanent sort of dent, in your confidence, in the way you look at yourself, in the kind of subconscious belief you hold about yourself. So how can one break that pattern and break that cycle? And if there is trauma or if there is baggage in a relationship, especially between a child and a parent, or even between siblings, how does one release it?
Taking responsibility for it and letting go of blame. Because you see, everybody is a product of their environment. There's no one who's not. While one may be aware of certain experiences from your childhood, there's a lot that you're still not aware of. There could be so many patterns currently existing within you which you're not even aware of. So first of all, blaming your family and your environment is not going to help, because it's only going to keep that energy active within you. Like they say, whatever you're thinking of and feeling is active in your vibration, and it's going to be with you all your life unless you learn how to let go of it. So, when I practice a technique and a process called Ho'oponopono, which is a letting go practice, a lot of that revolves around forgiving your family members, forgiving people who have hurt you in some way, including the past that, you've been exposed to. And in the process, what we are doing is we are learning how to take responsibility for it by, again, connecting with the inner child for it. Now, how did this really work, and how did, this whole process become so popular, and why letting go is something that people are accepting more today, is this incident that happened in Hawaii. That there was this therapist who was given the job of healing mentally ill criminals. There was a Hawaii state hospital where there was a ward that was housing mentally ill criminals. And no matter how much they tried, there were a lot of doctors and therapists who did nothing to help them. They tried everything. Finally, they approached the therapist who was called on to do the job. But he had one condition. He said, I'm not going to visit the ward. I'm not going to go inside. Now they were confused. They said, if you're not going inside, how are you going to help heal them? Now, these patients were having criminal backgrounds. They were chained, they were shackled, they were violent. You had staff that would, not go inside the ward. They were basically in a miserable state and condition. Now, when this therapist started to work, within few months, they observed some positive changes. What they found was that the ones that were really violent began to calm down. Staff started to be more open towards visiting the ward. Violence incidents started to come down. And, a lot of other things, like the relatives of those patients who normally would never visit them, they started to visit them. And in about a year's time, 50% of the patients were discharged. And within 3 years, they had to shut the ward because there were no more patients. Now, when they got back to that therapist to find out what he was doing, he said, I was doing Ho'oponopono. I was just cleaning on my own energy. And when they asked him to explain this, he said, whatever is coming up in your life, whether it's coming up from someone you know or it's coming up from someone you don't know. Like in my case, he said, these patients, now they're a part of my life. I have been given the job to heal them. Nothing in my life is coming up if I was not already attached to it or connected to it through my memories. So anything that shows up in your life, if it bothers you, it's up to you to heal it. You don't have to wait for another person to do anything. It's your 100% responsibility. So responsibility in Ho'oponopono, or let's call it letting go in metaphysics, is just about understanding that we share memories with other people. Let's say you and I are having a match, okay? You push, I push. But as I push towards you, you resist, you push towards me. But the moment I decide to let go, now there's no game, there's no match. And what we do realize is when one person withdraws, the other person also doesn't want to fight anymore. Now, all of this even happens at the energy level. Let's say one person decides to just let go, to release the energy associated with the past. Chances are that even you, as a person who's involved in that experience, will not hold on to that experience anymore. As it comes off me, for example, it must come off you. Why? Because there's only one energy between us. As I let go, you also let go automatically. And it all happens at the energy level, emotional level, mental level, spiritual level. That means if I really want to work on something that has bothered me, including something relating to my family, I need to first of all talk to my own inner child about releasing that past. So if it's bothering me, look at what emotion I am experiencing. Maybe I have anger. Identify the emotion. Is it anger? Is it hatred? Is it frustration? Is it sadness? Take up that emotion with the inner child and say, listen, I'm sorry. I didn't know that this emotion was within us for so long. Why do we say I'm sorry to the inner child? Is because the subconscious mind is housing all of these negative memories. Imagine if you have a negative person in your house. How would you feel?
Yeah.
The subconscious mind is burdened with a lot of unpleasant memories. And so, metaphysically, what we do understand is there's a part of you that is already burdened with these memories. That part of you is called the subconscious.
Correct.
And maybe we were not aware of it, so we haven't done it, but we haven't connected with the inner child, the subconscious mind, to free it, right? It's a part of us that has always been doing its job. One, it's a storehouse of memories. Two, it runs my body. So it's already doing a lot of work for me, but it's burdened with a lot of unpleasant stuff. So I would want to connect with my inner child and say, you know what, I'm sorry. I haven't been aware of all these patterns, but today I realized that we need to let go. Please forgive me, forgive my relatives, my ancestors, my family members for creating these patterns that exist within us knowingly or unknowingly. I'm taking responsibility even for them. Because if there is something that they could not settle in their life, that pattern exists within me. And if it's something that I am suffering in my life today because of them, I need to forgive them. And so as one unit, I say, please forgive me, my family, relatives, and ancestors. So a prayer like that, if one could make every day to your inner child and to the divine, that whatever has happened because of my family members, my relatives, my neighbors, my ancestors, please allow it to heal. I surrender it to you. I give it to you. And if it's very difficult to let go of it, there is an easy way out. Always asking the divine to work through you. I would always use a statement, God, please forgive through me. Please let go of this incident. Let go of these emotions. Please let go through me. You do it through me. And then, every day when you affirm in this manner, you pray in this manner, you begin to allow your brain to engage with this idea and thought that forgiveness is good for us. Letting go is good for us. So basically, you're again training your subconscious mind, but you're taking it exactly where it's hurting. You're not avoiding that emotion. So if I have anger for a family member, and if I continue to blame a family member, I should take it up with my inner child. I should tell myself, have that conversation with your inner child. Say, you know what, we are feeling anger for this person, but anger is not something that is good for us. So let's let go. I'm sorry I was ignorant about this emotion within me for so long. Please forgive me, my family, relatives, and ancestors for being ignorant or contributing towards this emotion, towards this incident, towards this feeling. Thank you for listening to me and for solving this for me. I love you unconditionally for everything. The reason why we use the words unconditionally is because everything in life is conditional, right? Sometimes people say, you know what, even my relationship with my parents is conditional. They also have expectations. But when you say unconditionally to your inner child, You're teaching your inner child how selfless love can be.
Yeah.
And when you teach it this selflessness, it works selflessly for you. So the moment you say these words, you start feeling lighter. And why does it work? Because you're not just taking responsibility for yourself, you're also taking responsibility for your family, relatives, and ancestors. You're saying, you know what? They may have contributed to this feeling that I have within me today, but I'm taking responsibility for it and saying, I love you and I thank you. And I'm sorry because this has happened knowingly, unknowingly, they may have contributed to it. So this whole process is what the therapist followed. And he said all that he was doing in that Hawaii State Hospital was, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. In fact, I always ask my clients to add one more, I bless you. Because I believe blessing is such a beautiful energy. See, the moment you say, I want to bless this person, your subconscious gets a feeling that, you're above this hurt.
Yeah.
You're beyond it. So it makes you feel lighter instantly. So I would suggest people who have these traumas and these negative experiences, face them. Acknowledge what you're feeling. Take it up with your inner child and give lots of love to yourself.
Wow. I think that was very informative just in terms of even understanding that you need to take accountability not just for yourself, but people who have knowingly or unknowingly hurt you. So I think it's going to help people. Let's move on to the next segment, which is to do with wealth and career goals. So a lot of people feel like, they're stuck. Like you said, like you had not earned anything. There are so many people like that. Or there are so many people who are stuck to find the right job or do the right kind of work that fuels them and fills them with a sense of purpose. How can they use some of these techniques to get that sense of purpose and also that dream job, where it doesn't feel like work?
I think it's very important to find that dream job where, you enjoy doing what you're doing. Because if you're not enjoying what you're doing, then you're going to be in stress and it's not a good feeling. And you spend so much of your time at work. So you better be at a place that makes you feel good about yourself. Besides, I would always look at it that way. If you're not happy about what you're doing, it'll affect your manifestation process. So if you're even manifesting a relationship, but you're unhappy at work, it affects your energy. So very important to find something that makes you feel happy. For that, I recommend a simple practice. Every day, take a pen and paper and write down what you really enjoy doing without looking at the money factor, without looking at what it's going to bring you in terms of revenue. What do you really enjoy doing? What would you do for free if you had everything that you had in your life that you want? All the money. What would you still want to do? And if you think of something at that moment, write it down. Maybe that is not the right thing, but I would still write it down every day. Again, next day. What is it that really makes me happy? What is it that excites me? What is it that feels effortless for me? Write that down. Now, chances are in about 30 to 40 days, you should be having your passion. Whether your passion...
pattern.
Yes. Whether it's your purpose or not, sometimes there'll be a trial and error. Because we know that memories also dominate our thinking. So whether the thoughts and the ideas you're getting are coming from your subconscious or your superconscious, we don't know. So we have to test it out. But chances are you will figure out. So when I was in that stage where I had to choose my career, whether I had to stick to my finance career or I had to go in for my metaphysics journey, I would do this practice every day. Because most people I spoke to told me, you're crazy. Don't leave that career. This is not something that people understand in India. This is not something that people, will appreciate too much.
It's not a viable career.
Yeah. So don't go for it. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to simply sit with myself every day and ask myself, what do I really want? Every day, ask this question. See, even if there are days when you get no answer, you're blank and you'll say, but there's no answer coming to me. Doesn't matter. The question is important. This question is what is going to make the subconscious mind answer it. In fact, ask the question in sleep. What is my purpose in life? What is it that really makes me feel like I've come alive? What is it that I'm meant to do here? What is it that only I am meant to do? Ask the question every night, few times, and sleep. I'm telling you, within 30 to 40 days, most people will find an answer. They'll find something to get started towards a journey that is going to take them towards their passion, their purpose in life.
An extension of this question is also finances and financial independence. You mentioned that a client of yours was able to attract this amount and do so very easily and effortlessly. It came very close to what he actually thought of, which was double. How can people improve their relationship with money? The removal of intimidation that this amount is too big. I think I'm better off a little bit lower. How can one begin to change that?
I think people first have a blockage that it's wrong to ask for money.
Yeah. Or making money is wrong.
Yeah. Or it's not spiritual. If I'm a spiritual person, then, I should not be making money, or it's not good. They're not comfortable even talking about money. You'll notice a lot of places people talk about money. They'll say, come here, I want to ask you something. Yeah. Okay. So first of all, identify if you have that discomfort for money. If you look at every spiritual organization, every religious organization, do they ever have lack of funds? Most spiritual organizations and religious organizations have plenty.
Abundance.
Of funds, right? The universe stands for abundance. It's an inexhaustible supply. So I would say you should believe and understand God is your source of supply. Universe is your source of supply. And money does not make you good or bad. That's another problem. People feel that, there are lots of problems with money. Money spoils people. Money only makes you more of what you already are. You see, if you're a good person who shares with others, with more money, you'll share more. But you see, if you have that within you, that blockage within you, where, you like to keep things to yourself, you're not very compassionate, you get worse with more money coming in. And people find negative changes inside you with more money. So it all depends on what you exactly are looking at money with. If you want to change your relationship with money, get comfortable with the idea that everything in the universe is energy. Money is also energy, right? And what are the basic properties of energy? Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Always was, always is, always will be. That means when I'm spending money, immediately I have set in motion an act to receive money. So I should therefore spend joyfully. I should bless people when I'm giving money, including paying your bills. Bless and pay your bills. Whatever you're giving out, bless. And when you receive with gratitude. Because sometimes you will receive things you did not want. Right? It could be a small amount of money. It could be a gift from someone. But you see, money is alive because it's energy, right? It listens. So how you speak about money must change if you want to change your relationship with money. How you behave with money must change. Behave more joyful. Give with joy. Receive with gratitude. Then money will want to come to you. Another thing that I feel really helps people attract more money and change their relationship with money is always be clear about what you're going to do with the money. Because money is very shy. It likes to be shown an exit door, right? So if you have a plan in mind that this is what I'm going to do with the money, then your subconscious mind takes it seriously. And then the money energy opens up just by making plans, right? Because a person who's expecting money to come will have a plan ready. So are you expecting money to come? You want money, but are you expecting it? You want success, but if you're preparing for failure, then you will get what you prepared for.
Yeah.
So with money, be specific. You have to be specific. When it comes to your business income, your job, be specific. Where would you like to work? Do you have a dream job, a dream company? Be specific. And don't worry about being specific and saying, oh, I'll be disappointed if I put this in my vision board. There's no limit to what you can achieve if you put your mind and heart to it. So whatever really makes you happy, whether it's an X amount of money or a certain job or a certain profile or a certain company, put that down in the form of a statement. And most importantly, bless money when it goes out. Be grateful for the money when it comes inside. If you start doing these things, your relationship with money will change very quickly.
Amazing. The next section is on health. So many people say a healthy mind is a healthy body. You spoke about struggling with your weight. And this is such a common trend, and people aren't happy with the way they look, with the way they feel, with the kind of food that they eat. Just their lifestyle that is not healthy in that sense. And sometimes this manifests into larger chronic diseases. And they are avoidable.
Yeah.
They're avoidable at the base and the root level. So what would you say to somebody who's struggling in this space?
I would suggest people to first of all accept themselves the way they are. Okay? Understand this, that just because you're working on this area, that doesn't mean that, currently you are not going to be accepted or loved. When it comes to the weight area. When it comes to a health challenge that one is experiencing, it's important to understand that your body is reacting at this very moment to the thought you're holding. So if you become conscious, you will never speak an ill word. You will never say, this is what I'm feeling, I'm suffering. The word suffering itself. So you can have pain, but you need not have suffering. Because suffering is of the mind. Pain could be of the body. Suffering is coming from a mental blockage. So become very aware of how you are looking at your health issue. Whether it's a weight problem or it's a health challenge you want to overcome. Don't bother what other people tell you. Even doctors are called practitioners because they are also practicing, right? Which means that we are all practicing. And we all have been given a new opportunity in the form of a new day. I would say if it's a new day given to you, that means this day can help you change your life. So make a list of everything that you want to improve in the health area. But the common mistake people make is they say, I'm free of diabetes, right? Or I've healed my heart. We should not do that. Because the moment you mention a specific part of the body, for example, which has an issue, the subconscious will catch your resistance. So always look for some generic statements and tackle the negative beliefs in your mind. For example, most people will not have the belief that they can heal themselves.
Yeah.
Right? How many people will affirm that I have the ability to heal myself?
Yeah.
So if that's the problem, then rather affirm that your body has a remarkable capacity to heal itself. Your body knows what to do to put you in perfect health, in the perfect weight. Repeat these things to yourself every day. Write them down. Most importantly, when a negative thought comes, let's say you have some fear relating to your body or your health, immediately place your palms on your chest. Okay? Just simply allow yourself to relax. Go into a lighter state of mood and vibration. And then give yourself those positive thoughts. Start breathing in and out slowly. Do something that diverts your mind. Listen to some good music. Go for a walk if possible. Okay? Make sure you do something where you lighten your mood and your spirit. And then give yourself the positive statements. Because in stress, giving positive statements will not help you. So when it comes to health, there is a lot of doubt. There's a lot of fear that people have. For that, meditation and silent sitting can be very effective because it can help you just ease your energy out. Secondly, give yourself the positive statements, but do not mention that part or area where you have the problem. Just issue a generic statement, a command to your subconscious mind that this is what I would like to heal, and say it in the present tense as if it's already done. The third thing that I suggest for health, which is very beneficial, bless the water. Whenever you drink water, say this water blesses me with good health. Make an intention and affirmation before you drink the water, because water becomes our blood.
Yeah.
And the way the water is formed also affects the way the brain is nourished. And if the brain is nourished well, it'll give you good thoughts. Good thoughts means a good vibration. Good vibration means a better result when it comes to your health. So bless the water. You can rub your palms, encircle the glass or the bottle, and then drink the water, stating mentally, this water blesses me with good health, or this water helps me reach my ideal body weight.
Yeah. Very simple things to do.
Yeah.
I think that from all of these, the common thread that has come up is that you just need to be more aware. You need to be more mindful. And then really be in control of how you perceive these various areas of your life. Which all culminates in this final segment before we go into last questions, is that all of this not having a particular thing in a particular area or suffering in a particular area leads to a lot of mental health issues.
Yeah.
India, in fact, has a 14% percentage of people who are suffering from mental health issues. What can one begin to do to take overall control of this mindset, and any particular technique that they can apply to kind of begin that process of taking control of their mind? I know all of these have spoken about the same thing.
Yes.
But in conclusion, in terms of mental health, what can one do?
I would suggest people should spend time with more positive people because it really helps you. Look at the kind of people that you're surrounded with, because your company really makes you who you are. It makes a big difference to your energy. So first of all, spend time with some cheerful people. Read some good books, because you can develop faith and understanding about your own life and your own situations, your own energy if you read. So if you read even for 20 minutes daily, it can make a big difference to how you approach your life situations. The third thing I would suggest is consciously try to practice gratitude. So even if you're experiencing a problem, look at something positive in that problem. Let's say it's a breakup, let's say it's a health challenge, let's say it's a financial issue. Something good may be coming out of it. So pick up that problem and look for something good. Even if you're currently experiencing a lot of mental health issues, right? There could be people who are depressed. Try to ensure that you every day verbally tell yourself to pull out something good from this problem that you're experiencing or you experienced in the past. When they start doing that, what happens is, first of all, they release energy blocked with that particular event. Because when you say something about that event in a positive way, you're releasing energy.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I would suggest that they should try and do some mindful breathing, because they need to just let go. So wherever they are, at least for a minute or two, breathe in, breathe out, relax. Mentally give yourself the command to relax. And if they do this every 2 to 3 hours in the day, they'll notice that stress and anxiety they were feeling begins to come down. You see, if you're suppressing the emotion, suppression leads to depression. So rather, we would want to get into a state of well-being that comes from faith. Faith will come when they spend time in mindful breathing. Faith will also come when they read something that inspires them.
Right.
These two things, they can get started immediately, besides keeping themselves in good company.
That brings me to my last question, and it's been amazing to listen to so many different facets from different techniques across genres. But I think what I want to end with is if we could have 10 affirmations from you across genres that people can begin their journey with manifestation and spirituality. We'll end on that note, because I don't think there's a better way to give a call to action that this is the time to take control of your life.
Yeah. One affirmation I believe everyone should use is, every day in every way, I am getting better and better. Second, I love and accept myself wholeheartedly. I am always peaceful and cheerful. Wherever I go, I always attract positive people. My life supports me in every possible way. Every day, I'm attracting positive energy, positive thoughts, and positive feelings. I'm easily attracting the success that I desire. I manifest all my goals with ease and joy. I release everything that bothers me in any way, and I accept everything that brings me success and happiness. Every moment is a moment of joy in my life. Although these are 10, they can still use some more. I would suggest people to always understand their lacking area and create an affirmation for that. So if you lack in relationships, I would suggest create 5 affirmations for relationships. If you lack success in finances, create 5 statements for finances, because where you focus on, subconscious will work more of. So these 10 affirmations, of course, you can include affirmations for money as well. So money comes to me easily and joyfully. I attract abundance wherever I go. Whatever I touch becomes a success. You can use any of these. Pick out your area of struggle and make sure you're using that as an affirmation in a positive way.
Thank you so much. It's been lovely. And I think this has been that episode of absolute realignment. And I hope that people can learn from this even more than they did from the first one, and really take control and realign themselves.
Yes, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to speak to your audience and to people that can actually benefit from this. I would only say one last thing, that everything that you hear is not going to be enough until you practice it.
Yeah.
So I would really suggest people to make notes and start practicing some of these things if they want to see positive changes.
Yeah. The best kind of knowledge comes from experience. So once you experience it, you're going to see the magic in it.
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Namaste.